When Chelsea beat Champions League holders Paris Saint-Germain 3-0 to lift the FIFA Club World Cup in July, nobody predicted what was coming next. When they dismantled La Liga champions Barcelona 3-0 at Stamford Bridge in the Champions League phase, it felt like Enzo Maresca had cracked the code. And when they defeated reigning Premier League champions Liverpool 2-1 with a stoppage time Estevao winner, the message seemed clear. Chelsea can beat anyone in the world. Welcome back, Chelsea family. Let me know in the comments which country you are tuning in from today. If you enjoy this kind of deep dive content, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss an update on the Blues. But here is the bitter truth that keeps Maresca awake at night. This same Chelsea side that conquered PSG, Barcelona, and Liverpool has somehow stumbled against newly promoted Sunderland, falling 2-1 to a last gasp winner. They crumbled 3-1 against struggling Leeds United at Elland Road just days ago. Brighton hammered them 3-1 back in September. The inconsistency is absolutely maddening. And it all points to one glaring problem that the January transfer window must address. Chelsea's defense is in shambles. Look at what happened against Leeds. Tosin Adarabioyo was responsible for the third goal after losing possession inside his own penalty area. The Chelsea Chronicle gave him a 2 out of 10, writing that it was obvious why he had played in just one of Chelsea's last 4 games, and calling it a nightmare performance that will earn him a lengthy spell on the sidelines. Benoit Badiashile could not cope with Leeds' pressing and was hauled off at halftime after an uncertain opening 45 minutes. Gary Neville singled out both players when slamming Chelsea's defending. On paper, Chelsea have center-back options. Tosin Badiashile, Wesley Fofana when fit, Trevoh Chalobah, and summer signing Jorel Hato. But the reality on the pitch tells a completely different story. When Maresca needed to rotate against Leeds, the backup options failed catastrophically. When he tried to rest players for the big games, the squad depth crumbled. Now compare that to Arsenal. Mikel Arteta has William Saliba and Gabriel Magalhaes forming arguably the best centre-back partnership in world football. When they needed cover against Chelsea, Christian Mosquera and Piero Hincapié stepped in seamlessly. That is genuine squad depth. That is a title-winning defense. What do you think has been Chelsea's biggest problem this season? The lack of quality, depth, or the inconsistent performances from the first-choice players? The root of Chelsea's defensive crisis traces back to a single devastating moment. In August, just days after returning from winning the Club World Cup in America, Levi Colwill suffered an anterior cruciate ligament injury during his first training session at Cobham. The 22-year-old England international underwent successful surgery but was projected to miss most of the 2025-26 campaign. Maresca himself admitted Colwill was, in his view, Chelsea's best defender in terms of build-up play. Without Colwill, Chelsea lost their ability to play confidently out from the back. Joe Cole said Chelsea have not coped well without the youngster, who was instrumental in everything good about their defending last season. Reports in November suggested Colwill's recovery is progressing steadily, but no competitive timeline has been set. There remains cautious optimism he could contribute before the campaign closes, but that is too late for Chelsea's title challenge. This is why January recruitment is absolutely critical. Chelsea need to sign 1, possibly 2, center-backs who can provide genuine quality, not just numbers on a squad list. 2 names stand out above all others. The first is Marc Guehi. You already know his story. Born in the Ivory Coast, moved to London as a 1-year-old, joined Chelsea's academy at age 8, and developed into one of the most promising defenders in the country. He captained England's under-17 side to European Championship finalists in 2017 before winning the under-17 World Cup later that year. Guehi played alongside Reece James, Conor Gallagher, and Callum Hudson-Odoi at Cobham. He lifted the FA Youth Cup twice and the UEFA Youth League with Chelsea. But like so many academy graduates, opportunities in the first team were limited. Chelsea sold him to Crystal Palace for £18 million in 2021. It proved to be one of those sales that makes you wonder what might have been. Guehi has since made over 160 appearances for Palace, captained them to FA Cup glory in 2025, and become an England regular. Now, crucially, his contract expires in June 2026. Crystal Palace manager Oliver Glasner confirmed in October that Guehi has told the club he will not sign a new deal. Marc has already told us he does not sign a new contract, so he will leave next year, Glasner admitted. The club wanted him to stay. They offered Marc a new contract. But he said, no, I want to make something different. Liverpool nearly signed Guehi in the summer for £35 million before Palace chairman Steve Parish pulled the plug on deadline day after failing to find a replacement. That decision means Guehi can now leave for free in the summer. But Chelsea should not wait. If they approach Palace with a reasonable January offer, perhaps around £20 to £25 million, Parish might accept rather than losing his captain for nothing. Would you rather Chelsea pay a fee now to secure Guehi immediately, or wait until summer and sign him on a free transfer while risking losing him to a rival? Here is why Guehi would be perfect for Chelsea. He's a ball-playing defender who thrives under pressure. His passing accuracy sits above 89% in the Premier League this season. He wins approximately 67% of aerial duels, well above the league average of 53%. Coach's voice described him as adaptable with the ball, capable of breaking lines by playing through or punching passes around blocks to progress in wide areas. He can also hit longer passes with accuracy and precision. Former Chelsea Academy coach Michael Beale, who drove a young Guehi around the M25 to training sessions at Cobham, called him an absolute gem. He's not the biggest defender at 6 feet tall, but Beale is confident Guehi would cope at a top club because of his technical skills. His composure under pressure, his ability to read the game, and his leadership qualities make him exactly what Chelsea need. There is also the emotional connection. Guehi came through Chelsea's academy alongside Reece James. They won youth trophies together. Bringing him back to Stamford Bridge would not just strengthen the defense, but add someone who understands the club's DNA. Now let us talk about the more ambitious option, Alessandro Bastoni. The 26-year-old Inter Milan defender is considered one of the best center-backs in world football. Former Italy legend Giorgio Chiellini praised him by saying Alessandro is one of the strongest central defenders around, and for me, he's among the best in the world. Sky Sports described him as Inter's wall at the back, a left-footed defender who can play the ball like a midfielder. What makes Bastoni so special is his unique role. He operates as both a center-back and a creative playmaker from deep. Sky Sports explained that when Inter build up from the back, Bastoni is a key metronome in getting the Nerazzurri far up the pitch. He occupies the half space, that area between the middle of the pitch and the wide areas where some of the most creative players operate. Effectively, Bastoni acts as Inter's regista, their deep-lying playmaker, while simultaneously being one of Europe's best defenders. His statistics are remarkable. In Serie A, last season, Bastoni averaged over 70 passes per game with an 89.8% completion rate. He recorded 0.91 key passes per game, a phenomenal number for a center-back. Defensively, Inter conceded only 16 goals in games where he played, keeping 16 clean sheets. The team concedes a goal every 143 minutes when Bastoni is on the pitch. Being left-footed is crucial. Most top managers now want a right-footed and left-footed center-back to open up different passing lanes. Bastoni is arguably the best left-footed center-back in the world. At 6 feet 3 inches tall, he dominates aerially while possessing the technical quality to bring the ball out from the back. However, signing Bastoni would require serious financial commitment. His contract with Inter runs until 2028, and his market value sits around 70 to 80 million euros. Inter would demand a premium for their defensive anchor. Chelsea would likely need to offer 60 to 70 million pounds to even start negotiations. Is Bastoni worth that kind of money? Or should Chelsea focus their resources on multiple targets rather than one expensive signing? If Chelsea could sign both Guehi and Bastoni, the transformation would be extraordinary. Imagine a partnership of Bastoni on the left and Guehi on the right, with Levi Colwill returning from injury to provide elite depth. That would rival any defensive unit in Europe. Maresca would have the ball-playing defenders he craves, the tactical flexibility he needs, and the depth to compete across 4 competitions. Guehi brings Premier League experience, English homegrown status, composure under pressure, and aerial dominance. Bastoni brings world-class passing range, left-footed balance, leadership from the back, and Serie A title-winning pedigree. Together, they would solve Chelsea's inconsistency problem overnight. The current situation is simply not sustainable. Chelsea cannot continue relying on Tosin Adarabioyo and Benoit Badiashile when the first-choice players need rest. The defensive mistakes that cost them against Leeds, against Sunderland, against Brighton will continue happening unless serious reinforcements arrive. Chelsea currently sit 3rd in the Premier League with 24 points, 9 behind leaders Arsenal after the Leeds defeat. The title race is not over, but it will be if the defensive problems persist. They have proven they can compete with and defeat the best teams in Europe. Now they need the squad depth to maintain consistency against everyone else. The January transfer window opens on January 1st, 2026 and closes on February 2nd. Chelsea have roughly 4 weeks to identify, negotiate, and complete deals that could define their entire season. Guehi feels achievable, Bastoni feels ambitious. Both would transform this squad.
One thing is certain. Enzo Maresca knows the issue. He publicly called for defensive reinforcements after Colwill's injury. He has tried multiple combinations, multiple formations, multiple systems. Nothing has worked consistently without his best defenders available. The backing from the ownership group now needs to match the ambition shown on the pitch. So here is my question for you, Chelsea family. If you could only sign one center-back this January, who would you choose? The homegrown hero in Marc Guehi or the world-class Italian Alessandro Bastoni? Drop your answer in the comments below and let us get a debate going. Thank you for watching. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next one. Up the Chels.